Welcome back, everyone. This is the Paper Princess, and we're gonna get started on our Fall Festival album. So in the last video, we made our base album, and you have your hinge in here. I'm just gonna take my bone folder and just press in these creases here, and now the book will be ready to bend. And it makes that noise in the beginning, no worries. And let's get ready to make the book. So the first thing I wanna do, I don't like this being uncovered like that. I just don't like these edges being all open. They can lift up. So I'm going to cover the inside and back side of these covers and put a pocket right here. And then we will start with our first pocket page. So I'm going to set this aside just a second and bring out my cutter. And let's just cut 2 8x8 pieces that we're going to put on the inside. Before I do that, I just want to remember that someone did ask me where I get my bone folder. I got this at a craft fair a couple years ago, and I really love it, but I don't remember the name of the company. I did look on Amazon, and the one that looks closest to this and was from the store. There's a store called the Crafty Gnome, Gnome. And they give you 2 of these for $19. So that was a pretty good deal. And it looked the most similar to this one. There were other ones, but they didn't look quite the same. So that's where I got this, if you want to pick one up. And speaking of shopping, just real quick, I was at Michael's today. And where'd that go? They had 3 paper packs for the price of 1, so basically you're getting one for $7, and I am going to use this one in the bonus album for this book. So if you like the book, you like this paper, and you're able to get it, you could just cut 2 of everything. And look at that, it's called Spellbound Forest. It's got this beautiful papers, and I just fell in love. So I'm going to use some mushroom paper in there. It's just gorgeous. So that will be our bonus album for this book, if you want to pick that up. And got it today. It's, I believe, the 18th of August. So if you have a Michael's near you, you can get that and follow along with me. That'll be coming in another week. So let's get started. Cutting 2 pieces, 8x8. And save these. That'll be a good size for our pockets. They're often 4 inches. Always save your scraps. You can use most of them. And 1 pack of these American Crafts black cardstock, you should be able to make both books if you decide to make this book and the bonus book. Alright, so since this is going on the front, usually I'll just use a tape runner, which I have here. I'm using a Scotch Advanced Tape Glider. But for these, on the inside pockets, I'm going to put score tape all around. I just want these to be real secure. And it's just what I've always done, and I've never had a problem. So I'm going to put score tape all around. And probably 1 going diagonal in the middle. Alright, and I'll just run 1 right across. Let's do the same thing to the other side. Now we're taping the flat side because we want our nice textured side to be showing. down. Might as well, actually, before I tape these on, let's cut the pockets. So one piece of paper will get you 2 pockets. So we want these to be 9 by 5. So I'm going to make my 9-inch cut first. And that's probably too thin to even save. But you can, because you know sometimes you have to put matting on the back of maybe you want to put a fussy cut something, so you could save it for that. I just have so much, so I'm not going to save one that skinny. And I'll cut 2 5-inch pieces. This cutter I got from Creative Memories. And I really like it because it's always sharp. You can change out the pad underneath, and it's just lasting me forever. I love it. So that's where I got that. Now for the pocket. If you haven't made a pocket with me yet, you'll have to watch how I cut this. But basically, whenever you make a pocket, you want to start with whatever side is going to be open at the top, because you're going to have 3 score lines around and not at the top. So that's the open side. So I'm going to have my 9-inch side facing the top of this score runner, and just score that 1/2 inch, turn it, score along the bottom, and then score the other side. That's your basic rule of thumb as to which side. It's whatever side is open, that's what you start with. All right, and then we'll put tape on these. So now we have our textured side up, and let's run tape right underneath these score lines. You don't want your tape to be on top of the score line or past it, just below it. So basically with 3/8 inch, you run across the very bottom and you will have plenty of room. Same thing to our backside pocket. And having pockets on the inside and backside covers, that's optional. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. But sometimes, especially if you have a keepsake album like this, there might be other things you want to put in this pocket, like a brochure or some other memorabilia. So it's just good to have it there. And you'll find it handy. And I have a little trick which I will show you, so whatever you put in here won't go flying around. So let's press that down. All right, so what I do, and if you've made my albums before, you know this already, but I'm going to explain for my new subscribers. What we're going to do to make this easier on ourselves, we have the 2 score lines. This is the flat side now, and you see where they intersect? I'm going to cut right up to that intersection line, and then I'm going to turn my scissors out and then continue on. So I have like a Pac-Man mouth right there. So I will do the same thing to the other side, and you will find that this is just easier to place your pocket down. It doesn't get accidentally one side put down too early and it's stuck there, and you'll find that it's very easy this way. I always clean as I go with all my little scraps everywhere. And let's just fold these over and press them down. These 3 flaps. Okay. And if I'm going ahead of you, feel free to pause me until you catch up. All right, so now we're just gonna take the tape off the bottom, not the sides. And then you can press it down and it stays. If you cut like I just did, then you'll be able to do that, and it's easier to place the pocket down because you're only dealing with one sticky side. Plus, if you need to move anything, you can easier. And the other thing is you'll be able to get your paper behind here without being all fussy. You can put it right behind here and then take off your sticky. So first, let's put on our little covers, and then we'll put the pockets on top of these. All right, so I have my 8x8 here. Okay, and I am just going to put this, center it. I want to try to keep about the same distance from the top and bottom. It's probably a little less than 1/2 inch all the way around. And it's nice and straight. So see, that looks a whole lot better. And there won't be that edge right here getting stuck on any of these hinges. All right, so same thing on the other side. I'm just going to do this. All right, so I'm going to put that. Looks good about here. And when I'm happy with it, you just press it down. Got a little piece of paper sticking there. I will get that off later. Okay, so let's take one of our pockets here, and I'm going to leave these backings on here, and I'm just going to place this. I can move it around all I want until I'm ready to put the bottom piece on. So nothing is sticky on the sides or on the top. And I'm going to lay this down where the bottom of the pocket is right at the bottom of that 8x8 piece. Whoops, a little too low. I can pick that up and put it right there. And do the same thing over here. Okay, and now when I decorate this, I'll put the paper behind here. I usually go down about 1 inch, and once I have that placed down, then I can peel these sides off and press it down. So there's one more thing we need to do, and this is purely so we don't forget. I want to take some magnets. Now I'm using Basic Gray, the small magnets. There's 20 of them here, and these are self-sticky on the back. You don't have to use these kind. You can buy them in bulk on Amazon and get a whole row of them. They don't have the pre-sticky on them, but you just put either some glue or cut a square piece of score tape and put it on there. And just make sure if you do that you get thin magnets. You don't want to get the thick ones. So be aware to try to find the thinnest ones you can. So I'm going to just put a positive here right in the middle, kind of low, right about there, only because I always start with a positive just out of habit so that I know that the first one is positive, and I know when I'm ready to put something in this pocket, I need to put a negative one on the other side. But if you are buying the ones that aren't labeled, you'll just know, you can test it out ahead of time and see which side you need to put the sticky on. So this is just so we don't forget that later, because I'm going to be covering that with design paper. Always, when you put a magnet down, you want to tape this, because you don't want your magnets ever coming loose and flying around your book. Okay, so I'm going to use, you can either use the 3/8 inch or 1/4 inch, either one. I'm going to use 1/4 inch score tape. I just like it a little better. Some people like to have the wider ones. So either way, you just want to absolutely put some tape there. And I will take that backing off when I put my design paper back there on top of this. And there we go. Our book is ready. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make all the pocket pages outside of the book, and at the end put them on. When I put them on, I have my score tape here on this hinge, you can see. I'll peel that off and run a bead of this glitter glue, zigzag it all on this hinge, and then put the pocket page on. That's how I'm doing it. Some people like to put the pages in first and then work on them, and you are welcome to do that. You can absolutely do that. So I am going to set this aside, and now we will make our first pocket page. So I'm going to bring out my cutter. I need 2 pieces of my cardstock. And I'm going to test this out. I say on the cut list, I'll tell you the original cut list, the full cut list is on the project share, the first video. So you can just print that off. But underneath description, you can just press on the down arrow and it'll show you the whole cut list for whichever video this is. So this video will have the pocket page cutouts and the pockets and the inside and outside covers. It will all be listed there. So it says on your sheet that you want to cut 8 pieces for your pocket page, 8.5 by 7 3/4. But don't cut all 8 until you test the first one out. So let's cut 2 pieces and make our first pocket page. Make sure it fits, and then cut the rest of the 6 pieces. All right, so we have, let's make the 7 3/4 inch cut first. By 8.5. You're going to save these pieces because we will use those for sure. So 7 3/4. By 8.5. And now bring out your score, and we're going to score these with the 8.5 inch side facing the top, which I believe is this. You can tell which one is longer, but it doesn't hurt to double check and make sure. Yes. So I'm going to take the flat side up, put about right here at the 1/2 inch mark, and score that. Do the same thing to our other piece. And then we'll take on the bumpy side, this is the linen textured side, and we're going to put 3/8 inch score tape. just below that score line. Alright, so let's press and fold this flap over. Okay, so when we made the long piece, when we wrapped our book, we're going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to put the one piece on the bottom with the folded side facing me. At the top you have the side that's flat, and then you have your folded side right here. I'll line these up and just press that down. So watch how I do this. Okay, so we're going to start, line these up, and press these. The top piece and the bottom piece are right up against each other, and I don't see any table here, so I know that I am right up against. And I'm going to walk myself to the middle, press that down, go to the end, and press that down. And then I'm all even. It's right perfectly lined up. Now, unfortunately, we can't do the same thing on this side, but it should fall into place. What I like to do, I take my tool here and just hold it there so it doesn't prematurely stick down. But I'm going to line up this top corner with the bottom corner there and just slowly move this along. There, okay, and just press that down. If you have a little bit of a bubble, you can kind of press it like that, but it should be pretty lined up. If worse comes to worse, and you really don't, I mean, this is perfect, but if you don't like the way yours laid out, yours laid itself, you can keep the side you did first, because that's going to be nice and straight, you know it. But if you have to move anything throughout this book, I do suggest having some undo on hand. This stuff is a miracle worker. It looks all wet and it's on your paper and you think it's ruined, but it isn't. It dries in like less than a minute, and then your sticky tape will become sticky again, and give it a little bit, and then you can reposition it. So it's just good to have that on hand. So now we have our first pocket page. Let's make extra sure that it fits on our hinge before we proceed. So pick a hinge, any hinge, and you put it on there, and you'll have a little bit of wiggle room top and bottom, and that's perfect. To make sure it fits, you just fold it over, and this, I don't know if you can see here, but this is right in here. And I'd have to say it comes to, you'd have like an inch, you know, between the top cover and the bottom. You'd have like an inch, which is what you want, because we're going to have a paper sticking out of here just a little bit, and nothing will be sticking out of the book. So this is the correct size. So once you've tested yours and you know it fits, go ahead and cut the rest of the 6 pieces, you know, 8.5 by 7 3/4, fold them over, and you're going to have a total of 4 pocket pages. Okay, so let's get started making page 1 in this video. And I'm going to always label, okay, I got my open ends to the left and right, and I'm going to label that just to be consistent. Pick a side. I just top left is what I've always done. I put a 1, turn it over as if you're turning a page of a book, and put your 2 there. So when we're done with page 1, we will know that our 2 needs to be in the upper left hand corner, and we won't have a page that's upside down or anything. That would be terrible. So now you've got it labeled, and we know we're going to be facing the right direction. So I'm going to set this aside and cut our flaps. So now you have your sheet, your cut list. Now let's start cutting some flaps. And I will do this right along with you. Okay, so flap A is going to be 7 7/8 by 7 1/2. Now, a lot of these pages in this book are going to be 7 7/8, just because I want a little bit of space between the top and bottom. This is you're picturing 8 inches, but you want to have a little bit of space. So a lot of the measurements are 7 7/8. So what you do for that is you go up to your 8, and then you walk your paper back 2 lines. So 2 lines before 8 is 7 7/8. Cut that. I have a whole pile of my scraps on the side, and I will be using those. Okay, and then 7 1/2. Oops. 7 1/2. Now I am going to label this A. Okay. Now B. B is going to be 7 7/8 by 4 1/8. So we know that this is 7 7/8. So yes, I just need to cut a little bit off. So 4 1/8. I go up to my 4, and then I do 2 lines more than 4 is 4 1/8. Just a little piece. So I'm going to label this B. All right. Now, and we're going to score these in just a minute. C is a pocket. So I want to take one of my leftover pieces. It's going to wind up being 4 or 4 1/4. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to cut this 8 5/8. Now what you do for 8 5/8 is you go up to 8 1/2. You'll be so used to this at the end. Okay, so go 8 1/2 and then go 2 lines more than 8 1/2. And that is 8 5/8. I'm going to save that. I know I have to back one of the cards. Okay, and this is 4 1/4. Okay, so I'm going to label this C and D. Okay, so D is going to be, looks like 6 3/8. Let me grab another piece. All right, 6 3/8. So what you do for 6 3/8, you go up to 6 1/2, and 3/8 is less than 2 lines less than 6 1/2. 5/8 is 2 lines more than the half. So I'm going to pull it back 2 lines before the 6 1/2. And that's going to be by 4. By 4, yeah, by 4. All right, so this is going to be D. All right, and let's score these. Okay, so let's take A and score this 1/2 inch with the 7 1/2 inch side facing the top. Okay, so 1/2 inch. B, we're going to score this 1/2 inch with the 4 1/8 inch side at the top. C is our pocket, so we're going to start with the open end facing the top, the longest end in this case, and just score 1/2 inch on 3 sides. So you did your first 1/2 inch, you turn it, and turn it one more time. All right, now D. D, we're going to score this in the middle. So what you need to do, let me grab an ephemera piece so I can show you. All right, these are my leftover pieces. What you're gonna do, let me take one of these. I will show you which one I used in the video, but I'm just gonna cut one of these. There. Okay. So basically you have your card that you choose, and I will show you which papers I chose in case you're not remembering. I have to cut a little piece off of that. Yeah. Okay. So what I did for this one, hold on. I want to show you which one I used. I used this one with the jars, the jelly jars. So you need to trim your piece the way you're gonna have it. And you'll do this with the piece you're actually going to use. This is just an example I'm showing you. Okay, so you put your card there and you have a little bit showing, a little bit of space at the left, top, bottom, and I'm just going to put a pencil mark right where I want to fold this. Then I'm going to score right there. Fold this over, and whatever is left over you trim off. So it will be different depending on which card you pick. This happens to be just a little bit smaller. So I like to give you extra. You can always cut what you don't need. And that will have the card on it and will go right on top of flap A. Okay, so here we go. Let's start taping these flaps and putting them on our first pocket page. All right, so let's bring out our tape. So in the videos, I'm going to show you how to put all these flaps and pockets on. And at the end of each one, I will show you how I decorated it. So you don't have to keep flipping back and forth to the original project share. You can just look right at the end of page 1 and see how I decorated it. And you can always feel free to add whichever you want. You can add pizzazz, whatever you feel. Add embellishments or whatever you want. So let's press these down. Okay, I'm going to fold flap A and B, not the pocket yet. All right, and let's cut that pocket like we did with the ones on our inside and outside cover. Go right up to where the lines intersect and push out a little. Okay, and now I can fold this over. So I have my number 1 up here, and I'm going to put my left flap on. Now is when, if you want to corner round, you can. So I'm going to, and I like this we are because you can decide yourself which you want, the real small corner or a medium size. I often use the medium size, but for this one I'm going to go with the small. It's just easier to do it before you put it in the book. If you make a mistake, say, and this, every once in a while, if you're doing it too quick or whatever, and you don't have it lined up, nestled in there square, and you're off a little bit, the advantage of starting out small is you can easily fix that by going up to the next size and pressing down. So that is why I just love that. So let's put this down. Take the backing off. Here's my 1. This is going to be going on the left side, so I'm turning it where the left side is towards me. And I am going to put this, I'm going to line this up with my hands. I'm tucking this under. And what I want, there's going to be a little tiny bit between the left and the right, which is going to be your top and bottom. And you want that little bit of space. And then you bring it right to the edge, and you take your thumbs. You're going to be utilizing your thumbs a lot, and try to feel where the bottom edge of that pocket page is and your flap. And when you feel that they're lined up on top of each other, then just let go. And so you have just a little bit of space, top, bottom, and that helps with, nothing will fray if you leave yourself a little bit of space. So it's just a habit, a good habit to start when you open and close this. And it's especially true if you have top and bottom flaps. You just want a little tiny bit of space. Okay, so let's do the other side. Now for this side, I did not corner round it, but you can. It's optional. So I'm going to do the same thing. Got a little bit of space. If you want, what you can do, put a paperweight there, and you can line this left flap so that this right flap is now lined up with the left. And then I guide it down with my thumbs. Goes right to the edge. And there we have it. Okay, and then we're going to put our pocket down. Before we do anything, let's just do a dry fit and make sure it fits. What you want to do, you're going to come right to the bottom, but you want a little bit more space than what we had up here. We want about 1/8 of an inch, like 2 little lines on a ruler, and that way this flap can go over that pocket comfortably and not fray any edges. You will not notice these spaces once you have your design paper down. All right, so let's do like what we did with the other. You just peel off the bottom and stick that down, and now we have control here. So I can put this down and move it around, which is the advantage of leaving that score tape on. And I'm just focusing on the bottom now. I've got a little bit of space to the left and the right, and I'm going to bring it right to the bottom edge and press it down. And there it is. So now when we put our design paper back here, then we'll peel off. We'll take this tool, peel that off, and it'll go right down. Okay, I have a little bit showing here right on my fold, so I want to erase that, which is why I use pencil. Okay, now magnet time. So we're going to have this big flap is going to go down first. So let's take some magnets. And put 2 in the corners. Sometimes when I put just 1 in the middle, you know, these edges curl up. You can try it. If you want to conserve magnets and give that a try, You can just make sure that your magnet doesn't land right where this pocket is. You want it to land above the pocket or on the pocket, but not right in the middle of it. But I'm going to put them, I have just found that this works really well for me to put it on the top and bottom. Not all the way in the corner, but like right around there. And I'm putting my positives down first. Just to have it, so I always know what I did. Let's see, I'm gonna tape this down. Either way, vertically or horizontally. And just take 2 negatives right there. You peel off the sticky and just fold it over. Okay, and then we'll tape those down. So that goes down first, and then we're going to have our top flap, the B flap, going on top of the A flap. I'm going to do 2 magnets again. Oopsie, I dropped that piece. Okay. All right, and then we have our opposite end. Okay. Whoops, sorry. Throwing things. And there we have it. Now, that other little booklet that I made is gonna go right there. And what you wanna do is you're gonna glue this side, not glue, tape. I would, just because it's sitting on top of there, I would put like score tape on the top and bottom, and then maybe put some of your regular tape runner on the sides, something like that. Just put a couple of pieces of score tape on this. And before you do that, you want to put a magnet in here. So let me find my magnet. Okay, and then we'll tape those down. And we'll put that right on there. So let me show you which papers I chose to decorate this. And then you'll be all set with page 1. We are going to do all these inserts at the end. So if you want to wait till the end to decorate your inside cover and outside cover, you can, or you could do it now. What I did for that is I chose this paper with the chalkboard, and I put the pocket on first and then cut the other piece. So you'll notice the piece of paper is longer. Your chalkboard is bigger than this, but I had to tuck this under so it's now a square chalkboard. If you want, and you want your chalkboard to be a little bigger, cut a little bit off of this bottom. I just put it the way the paper was. Didn't really think about that till after. It doesn't look bad. I kind of like it like that. But if you want this, your board to be bigger, make a cut here first, put that on, and then put the paper on behind it. All these inserts and things do at the end, so I won't even talk about that because you want to use scraps for that. So our first page, I chose the ephemera card that has the jelly on it, jelly jars. You can pick whichever one you want. I just thought that looked cute, and see, it magnetizes. There's our magnet under there, and it's all taped on. I put this wood paper on this A-flap, and then put this in the center. So this is a piece left over, I think, or it's just, you'll find it in there. I'm not sure exactly. I think it's the one that says Hello Fall up here. So it's the one, you'll see. You can't miss it. It's my favorite paper. So it has Hello Fall up there, but I chose to put the pumpkin and the jelly jars there. On the other side, I use this peach color. And again, for the solids, you pick whichever color you think goes. I just thought that looked nice. You can choose a yellowish brown, a maroon, beige would go with this. I have my welcome home bench here with the candle. And again, in case you haven't seen my videos before, I'll just show you real quick what I do. So let me I'm just going to grab a piece of paper. So basically, I lay down this bench right here, and I know I want to have my candle here. So I will put that there at the edge and just make a pencil mark. So the paper's on the edge right here, and I just put a pencil mark right where I want to cut, lay it on there, and then, assuming this is longer, it goes up to here, let's just say. And then I want it to go so that a little bit of the pocket is sticking out. So I will make a pencil mark there, cut that, and do the same thing with the top and bottom. I'll cut the bottom first. So I want to run right along the bottom of this where the knapsack is. And then whatever, say your paper's leaning over the edge there, and you put a little line right to where you need to leave a little bit of black showing. And that's basically how I do the putting on the design paper. I don't have, like, the pocket is 8 5/8 by 4 1/4. I don't then figure out how much is where 1/8 of an inch is showing. I just put the paper on there and draw a pencil mark, and then I'm never wrong. So that is how I do that. For the inside, and again, put all these inside things later, but you make a little booklet the same way I showed you how to make that top one. That one does not have to be magnetized because it's in a pocket. And then this is my full, I love the little puppy. It's got a whole long scene. It's really nice paper. But I just chose that. Do that last. And then you have there and there. My pullout is an orange piece, but we will make those at the end. So, next video, we're on to page 2, and I will see you soon.